Energy can make or break you. I even wrote down some notes here because I don't want to forget anything, because energy is a complex subject. But I want to use an example here about how energy can ruin a person's life. More specifically, how a low energy state can ruin a person's life. The simple fact of being sufficiently low energy enough. If you are sufficiently low energy enough, you can make mistakes, what seemingly are mistakes, but actually they're not. It's just nature. It's nature reorganizing, optimizing itself to work to punish lower energy organisms and to now work through to channel energy through higher energy organisms. But or energy can be a miracle for you. It allows you to do more work with less exertion. It feels like it's less exertion, less stress on your body, but you're doing more things. It's a miracle. It's incredible if you have the energy. That's the amazing thing about energy. But when you don't have it, all the plans and all the discipline and motivation and sheer will in the world won't do anything. It'll just, your life will seemingly get harder and harder. All right, so take, for example, somebody who's driving to the grocery store and say they get a text. It's just a little text to distract them just for a moment. It's a text to distract them just for a moment. Maybe it's a longer text from a person a friend or something, and it's amusing, or it's something that they're actually interested in. And maybe the music's a little loud. There's some distractions, but the point is, if you think about energy as computational power, energy is power. And what power is, it allows you to multitask, carry out multiple functions at once. So not only does it dictate how many things you can handle at once, so the number of things you can handle at once, low energy, lesser number, higher energy, higher numbers of things you can handle at once, but it also dictates how quickly you can do them, how quickly you can juggle between them, move between them, how quickly you can carry them out themselves. It also dictates how intelligently you carry them out, each one of them. How intelligently, how efficiently is it carried out itself? So higher energy, more efficiently, more intelligently, more fine-tuned, more accurately, less friction. Lower energy, more friction, a little more mistakes, not as intelligently. So think about that. It's just RAM, it's just computational power, it's just bandwidth. So in this scenario, this person driving down the road gets this text. They're sufficiently low energy enough, there's a car turning left in front of them through the light, and they're going straight through the light. They could, if they had enough energy, been able to notice both things at once. But in this case, unfortunately, they were sufficiently low energy that this took up too much of their attention. The music kind of played a role, whatever, and they didn't see it quickly enough to prevent a collision. Bang, collision happens. Now they have a neck injury. Now they have to go to the chiropractor. Now they have to go to the chiropractor every week. They're paying a little bit more out of pocket for this neck injury, not to mention they're paying some copay for their meds. Now they're dealing with meds, they're dealing with pain. Maybe they're not sleeping as well, which is giving them lesser energy during the day. Already not ideal if you're in a low energy state. On top of this, their car insurance is now raised. So now their monthly bills are going to increase along with their meds pay and their chiropractor pay. So now they're paying more money, more of their resources, more of their time, more of their energy that they work for. More of that is being carried away, being gone. So that will up their stress. That will up their stress as a person, which is going to deplete their energy even further. So, um, yeah. So they're not as sharp. They make mistakes. Let's say in their work. So now they're at work, and their work is customer service based. So now they're, let's say now they're taking the bus. They're taking the bus because they got to get their car fixed, right? Their car it was in a collision. So now they have to get their car fixed. And say they're taking the bus for a week or two. Now they're sleeping less. Now on top of this, they're sleeping less. Now they got pain in their neck. They got to take the bus now, and the bus is a little stressful. Anybody that's taking the bus, there's some crazy creatures on that thing. It's not the most it's not the most stress-free environment. Let's say their commute is now an hour instead of 15 minutes. So now their commute is longer to work and back. So less time in their day for other things, maybe to prioritize, meditation or breath work or having a good diet. So now their diet's suffering even more on top of this poor sleep. Now they're at work. And because now they're drinking at night because of the pain. They're drinking a little more at night, or they're drinking even at all at night because of the pain that they're dealing with, the stress that they're dealing with, the extra bills that they're paying for now. Life's getting a little more tough. Now at work, they're a little hungover on top of the sleep issue, and now dealing with customers is a little more difficult. Dealing with multiple tasks is a little more difficult. Their meds are making them a little groggy, not as sharp, not as quick, messing up their energy. Maybe they're dipping into more stimulants to give them artificial energy because they're feeling so lacking in energy now. But really, stimulants, it actually demands energy of your body to produce that stimulatory effect. So actually, it's demanding more energy of your body to produce this stuff. And not only that, on top of the energy that's demanded of alcohol, same thing with alcohol. When you consume alcohol, energy is demanded of your body to produce the serotonin and the neurotransmitters that make you feel good and stuff like that. It takes energy to produce that already from a low energy organism. So it's just depletion. It's further depletion of core energy. You see what I mean? It's depletion of core energy. So now they're dealing with customers. Things aren't going as well because when you don't have power, when you don't have energy, what happens is you feel powerless. When you have less energy, low energy, it means low power. What is low power? Powerless. Low energy is low power, so therefore you feel powerless. Does that make sense? So now this person at work, they feel powerless because they don't have the energy to deal with their emotions. They don't have the energy to deal with other people's difficult emotions, and they're getting stressed out because you have to problem solve at work. Things happen. All sorts of different people come in and they have different moods, and things aren't done on time, or things weren't right, or whatever. Having to deal with certain things. So now, because of this powerlessness, they start to make narratives in their mind about why this is happening. Oh, it's their fault. Oh, it's the customer's fault. Oh, it's the fact that I have a terrible boss. Oh, it's the fact that whoever left me, or I never got that scholarship, or it's because the person hit me on the road. It's their fault. And so they have all these narratives in their mind that are not that don't place the blame on anybody, that place the blame on all of their sources except for themselves. So they have all this blame, and now they're a victim of their situation. They're a victim of life. Oh, my neck hurts, and all this happened to me, and all this stuff. And now this person coming in, they're being rude, and I can't handle this, and it's too much, and I'm dealing with too much on my plate and all this stuff. You don't know what I've been like. They start to get into it with the customers. They start to get into little spats with the customers. Now the customer is complaining to their boss. Now their boss is writing them up, saying what's going on. You're making mistakes. You're making mistakes on the administrative stuff. You're getting into it with customers. Now their job's on the line. you see how just one thing, just being sufficiently low energy enough, can really compound. These things compound. There is a compounding effect of low energy. And this is the thing about low energy. What happens when you're in a powerless state, when you're in a low energy state, is what starts to happen is you feel powerless. You feel like you're not making enough money. You feel like life's getting harder on you. And so oftentimes people try to just exert themselves even more. Oh, just through sheer will. I'm going to exert myself even more. I'm going to work harder, longer hours, do more. I gotta strive. I gotta strive. Gotta beat myself into the ground to make more money because I don't make enough money, because my place isn't nice, because I don't have this yet, because I don't have that yet. And this often just makes the problem even worse because they're demanding more energy from already a low energy system. And they're just going to encounter more problems in trying to do more. And eventually they're just going to hit a wall. They're just going to crash. Life's only going to get harder for these people. And I know what this is like. I've lived in a very low energy state. I used to live a very low energy state of existence. And so I only know what this is like because now I'm in a higher energy state coming from a lower energy state. And let me tell you, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the change. But the thing is, when you're in a low energy state, you don't know it. You don't know that this is what's happening. Oftentimes you can see somebody's energy state just by looking at their life. How do they maintain their life? Is their life well maintained? Is their car clean? Look at something so simple as, is their car clean? Is their place clean? Do they take care of their place? Is their place nice? Is it organized? Things like this. The thing about things like this is your body is smart. It will always prioritize survival over any other extracurricular desires or needs or wants. Your body will always prioritize its own survival. So therefore it will, if it needs to, it will wreck all areas of your life aside from what it needs to do to survive. That includes relationships. It includes relationships with, your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your spouse. It includes your cleanliness of your place. It includes your financials as long as you can survive. It includes your financials, not paying certain bills on time, not paying taxes, not getting your finances in order, forgetting certain bills were due, putting off certain things. The whole thing about procrastination and putting things off and then forgetting about them. This is because you're operating from a place of scarcity. You're operating from a place of low energy where your body doesn't need to do these things. Your body is only concerned with keeping you alive. It's only concerned with keeping you alive. So if it's having trouble doing that, if it needs all the energy that you possess just to do that, then you won't have energy for other things, and it will prioritize. It will delegate its energy delegation. It will delegate its energy accordingly. You won't fill up, there will be the low tire pressure light on your car for months, because you don't have to fill that up because it takes energy and you're already on such low energy. You won't clean out your car because it takes energy and you don't have the energy to do that right now. You won't go to the grocery store and buy good food to cook because that takes energy more so than to order something on Uber Eats, which is more expensive, more unhealthy, but less energy intensive. You can just lay on your bed and then go up and get the food instead of having to cook and having to go to the grocery store and pick out things and walk throughout the grocery store and deal with people and deal with, you see what I mean? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. People will, if you see that your life is being downsized, if your life is being downsized, it's because your body has to do it to survive. Your relationships and friendships are failing. Your social interactions are failing. Your, your health is kind of going downhill. You gave up your car. You're living in a smaller place that doesn't cost as much. All these things are ways to lessen your energy output because there is not enough energy to sustain the life that you're currently living. That's all it is. That's all it is. And the thing about energy is when you finally have it, your life starts to blossom. It starts to go the reverse. Your life doesn't downsize, it starts to upgrade. But the key thing here is the upgrade doesn't feel like there's more effort being put in, that there's more stress being put on your shoulders. It feels manageable. It feels sustainable. That's the whole point. The whole point of energy is to have a life that's sustainable and where you can thrive and sustain that thriving, sustain that trajectory, that upward trajectory. I used to, when a while back, I used to work in hotels, and I would work a lot of times I would work the overnight shift, and I would work the front desk, and I didn't make a lot of money. And that was the only job that I had. It was the only job that I had, and I didn't do well at it because I didn't have the energy to really put in effort to it. I didn't care about it because I was in a low energy state. I was in survival mode. I was in survival mode for many, many years. So I know what it's like to live like this. My place wasn't nice. I had a terrible place. It wasn't clean. I didn't keep my car clean. I didn't keep up the maintenance. There would be issues because I was just trying to survive. Because I was escaping, because I was, obviously most people watching this will know, I was draining myself of my life force constantly through ejaculation. And this is the main source of this energy, is sexual energy. Spoiler, in case you didn't know, sexual energy. Start being sexually disciplined, and you'll witness some miracles. That's for sure. In energy, in energy production and retention, the energy that you can store within your body is just gonna it's just gonna go up exponentially. So, but yeah, I came from this state where I was not making a lot of money. I didn't have a nice place, and so I thought, because I felt powerless, because I didn't have power, because I didn't have energy, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna buy a car, because I was riding a bike at the time. I'm gonna buy a car, and then I'm gonna start doing Lyft and Uber to make extra money, and that way I can have more income, and then upgrade my living situation, all this stuff. It's gonna be great. But the problem was I didn't address the fundamental issue, which was low energy, and so it really just made my life more unsustainable. It made me closer to the margins. I had less money at the end of the month. That's all that really happened. And I just had more things to worry about. Now I have a car to worry about, a car to maintain, a car to pay bills on. And what would happen is at the end of my shift, when it would come down to, oh, I can just go home and I can veg out, or I can go and do 3 or 4 hours of Uber or Lyft, in my low energy state, what do you think I did? I always chose, almost more often than not, unless I was having a good day where I felt energized, I would always choose to just go home and just veg out, because my body was prioritizing my survival. I knew that, like, I didn't need to do Uber to survive. I would survive, and that's the state that my body was in. Alarms were going off, bells were going off, whistles were going off constantly. And man, I think this is really, energy really is the name of the game here. Now I'm doing way more. My life is upgraded significantly. I have 2 jobs. I can only do these 2 jobs because I can maintain, because I would have never been able to do two jobs the way that I used to live. I didn't have enough energy to do it. And it would have felt super stressful. I would have made mistakes. I would have gotten fired from one eventually, or done something crazy because I couldn't handle the stress, couldn't handle all the things that I had to do, all the problem solving, the energy demands. But now I can do it no problem, and it's not really an issue. It's all about energy, and it doesn't feel like I'm working two jobs. It don't. That's the crazy thing, is it doesn't feel like I'm working two jobs. And bought a car, and my place is clean, my car is clean, I keep all my finances in order, my taxes are all already done. Like everything's I if something needs to be done, I take care of it immediately. I take care of it immediately because I have the energy to do it. And it's not even something that I think about. I don't even think about it. It's just like second nature. Like, oh, this needs to be done, okay, I'm gonna do it. And you start to think, higher stuff. Now it's not just about maintaining a certain life. Now it's like, okay, now you can actually start to thrive. You can actually start to level up because you have the energy to do it. I mean, yeah. It's crazy how energy really is just power. And I think that's why so many men can be emotional, and it comes from a state of powerlessness, because when you have low energy, low power, you're powerless. And a man doesn't want to feel powerless. But when you're powerless, you need to like blame other people. You don't want to blame yourself. You don't want to be like, oh yeah, I suck. The default reaction, reflex, is to blame the world and blame other people and oh this and all that. And that's just coming from a guy, coming from a man, that's just, it's revolting. But I was that way for a long time. Um, I think that's why men can, sometimes they approach certain things. I'll come across in my jobs, and sometimes they'll just come across certain things, and it's like they approach things from a state of helplessness, like a state of powerlessness. It's like the 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 problem is you just don't have the energy or the power to just either see that this is a nothing burger, it just don't matter, or to the you have the energy to now fix it, to take charge of your life, to take charge of the situation, to remedy the situation. Do something so that you no longer feel powerless. Take the powerlessness out of it. Use your power to no longer feel helpless. Okay, you took control of the situation now. You made something happen. Great. Now you have the confidence to do that all the time when things come up, when unexpected things come up, when problems come up. Now you can problem solve. Now you can do this. Now you can do that. You can think through things because you have the confidence, because you have the power, because you have the energy to do it. I mean, it really is just, you know, man, energy really is just it. It can make you or it can break you. It can be the greatest thing if you have it in abundance, or if you have a scarcity of it, you will operate from a place of scarcity and your life will be very, very difficult. And it will only seemingly get more difficult the more energy you seem to deplete out of your organism. I think everybody has an intuitive understanding. They have a deep understanding of energy, but they're not consciously aware of what's going on. But everybody's organism prioritizes energy and delegates energy without them consciously thinking about it. And that's why people can't keep their places clean. They can't keep their car clean. They can't take care of their finances. They can't maintain relationships. They can't maintain social stuff. They can't do extra after work things with colleagues because that's not required to survive. To survive, you just need to eat and you need to sleep and you need to like chill. Like, and so all the rest of the aspects of your life that you want to be present are going to crumble if you don't have the energy to sustain those things, to carry out those things. That's really it. So, yeah, energy, man. It can make you or it can break you. That's it. That's the video.